Hello, welcome. Today, we don't have the fluffle kerfluffle, because that's gonna be delayed for not next week because we're gonna have Thump Bark next week, but the week after next week because I want to make sure the first episode is really special. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be doing a fun little video of something that I'm passionate about and something that I hope that you, by the end of this video, will also be passionate about as well, because this is the one thing that'll wake me up if I'm tired. This is the one thing that you can't get me to stop yapping about. It's the reason why I like lore of everyone else and why I'm such a big nerd, and I really want to just tell you why you should be passionate about my lore. I've talked about it on streams, I've talked about it in passing, I've talked about it a decent bit, but I have a lot of lore, and I pride myself on just how much lore I have. And I feel like I haven't done enough justice just showing how much there is and how big of a world this is and how fun it is and just how much I care about this. So I wanted to bring a few things to just get you hook, line, and sinkered into my lore. And I'm going to even be releasing some things that used to just be Patreon only, and I'm going to finally release the floodgate and start releasing some of my lore. So down in the description, I of course will now be finally showcasing for all of those that may care or may know my lore Bible. The lore Bible that I talk about so much, it's always just been available to the Patreon members. I will now finally allow you guys to see my 40-page lore Bible, which isn't finished, by the way. It's always a work in progress. It's gonna be it is just the world. It's not any of the characters. And I will release the 3 short stories that I've written for Chompers, from the Yuki point of view, the Shiri point of view, and the Chompers point of view. So those are things that were originally Patreon exclusives that now will be released to the public. You'll be able to read them, you'll be able to watch them, and you'll be able to enjoy them. And I want to show you some of the coolest things that I have about my lore, just to show you how much passion I have with lore and why I want you to get invested. For, you know, I want to give you a little bit of a nibble. I want to give you a little bit of a bite of just like, I'm not like your average VTuber. I have so much lore, and I want to show you it. I want to get you invested. I want to give this to you. So I'm going to start off with one of the things that I think is the absolute coolest. It's a big work in progress. It's been in the works for like 8 months. I don't have everything to show you, but I want to show you some small snippets of the Shirybun anime. So you're not going to be able to see me anymore. Instead, we're going to be taking a peek. I'm going to be showing you 2 scenes of the Shirybun anime. And I just to show you how like so cool this is and just how amazing this is. So that's one scene. It's short. Obviously, this is going to be an entire, you know, it's short, but it's really cool. And here's another scene. Just, and I can give you one more that's not finished. It's a not finished scene, but we're gonna actually, here, I'll give you this one instead. Actually, now here, have this one. You get three scenes of just the Shirybun anime. Just something that I think is super cool, super awesome, something that's been a work in progress for almost like 8 months now. It's going to have its own original song. It's essentially going to be an anime opening. It has essentially a lot of the major key lore characters. It goes over a lot of the key moments and stuff like that. It's going to be super cool. It's going to be super hype. And that's just like a little bite of my lore, because this is just like the anime opening when it's like done, like the Shirybun anime. That's going to be one of my major pulls of just getting people interested, because they'll be like, oh my god, wait, look, it's not just Shiri. There's so much other stuff here. Wow. Look, wait, who's that character? Wait, that character looks so cool. Or like, oh my god, wait, that's that character. I know that character. I remember them from stream. I remember Shiri talking about them. This is something that I want to grab your attention. I want to get you invested in my lore. I am extremely passionate about my lore, and it's like this, there's so many different plans that I have. Like, I want to make video games, I want to make, you know, tabletop games where it's, you know, we got our own Shirybun D&D with systems in the works and stuff like that. And you know, that's going to be content in the future, and it's stuff that you're going to be a part of, like a part of. It's a living, breathing world that you will be able to make your own character, and you have the potential to literally be a part of my lore, because the things that you affect in like the tabletop game affects the world itself. So you will have an active role in actually affecting the Shirybun universe. And something that's in the same realm, the same topic of, you know, the Shirybun world, and there's just how much I've dumped into this, and just to show how much I care about this, I'm going to be showcasing some of the music from the different regions. In most games, you know, there's background music. Whenever you go into a city, whenever you go into a different thing, there's the music of that city that plays. One of the things that I really, really enjoy doing, so the main place that I'm focusing on right now is the magical continent. It's called Auroria or Ratia. And basically there are, instead of countries, they're regions. So there are 7 major regions that are in here, and each of those regions has music. I have music for all of them. And one thing that I really like to do, especially to new peeps, or you know, peeps that I managed to grab and get a hold of, is I like to let them have the lore Bible open and try to guess, like basically pick and choose, after hearing the song, where they believe or where they think the song belongs to. So I'm going to be sharing about 3 songs, probably my favorite songs, the background musics of these regions, and you know, we could even do a fun game. In the comments, you have the lore Bible now. I would love for you to guess, what region is this song for? And so I'm going to start off with what I think is probably the prettiest one. Okay. Up next, this one I feel like is the easiest. So if you're playing along, this one is probably going to be the easiest one for you to get. Okay. And then for the third and final one that I'm showing you, but there, keep in mind, there's 7 and more. I'll be showing you this one. Okay. And so those are some of the musics. There's more music, and there's more music in the works. There's going to be music for every single place. There's going to be music for characters. There's going to be music for if you're just roaming around the world, stuff like that. There's music for everything. And that's not the only reason why you should be invested in my lore. I have lots of stuff. I have tons of stuff to show you, which also include characters. I have a ton of characters. Believe it or not, it's not just Shiry. It's not just Shirybun. I mean, for example, the short stories that I'm showing you are, you know, from the perspective of, you know, basically the 3 main characters. There is technically a 4th main character, but they're kind of not talked about too much just yet. And believe it or not, the other 4th main character is actually right here. That's them. We don't know too much about them yet, and I don't want to spoil too much, because something about my storytelling is I like leaving little breadcrumbs so that people can theorize, figure out things themselves. Like, for example, why is Yuki going to the flower shop? Why is Yuki so seeming like they're so powerful? Why does it seem like Yuki has no magic? Does Yuki have magic? Does Shiri have magic? Why isn't Shiri using magic? Why does it seem like Shiri doesn't have magic? And other things like that. So the thing would be like, why is this person here? Why is Yuki here? Other things like that. And once again, I mean, here's an example of another character. This is Chompers. This is Yairi. This is Shiri's twin brother. Something that you can, it's something that's hinted at a lot. And there's little theories and such, and the little breadcrumbs that in the beginning I didn't tell you that this was Shiri's twin brother. It was something that over time you ended up figuring out through little clues and little things and little breadcrumbs that I would leave around and stuff like this. I do like Chompers a lot. I do enjoy them very much so. They're probably one of my favorite designs that I've made and stuff like that. They are a pride and joy in my heart. Of course, we got a fan favorite. These are probably two of the most fan favorite characters that I have made that are in my story. This is Yuki, which is, there's a lot of memes that go around saying, bring Yuki on screen, or we prefer Yuki over Shiri, or show Yuki's attention rate, or Yuki spotted attention rate up tenfold. Yuki is essentially the hot fox man, got a British accent. I do his voice like this. He oftentimes reads bedtime stories and stuff like this. He's supposed to be very dramatic, very theatrical stuff similar to that. And this is typically the voice that I'll try to do for him. And he tries to make things almost like they're always fairy tales. You're not supposed to ever understand what exactly he's going to do. Other things like that. And then they have a very similar personality to Chu, who is this character, who is another fan favorite. They are basically very sadistic, very smug. Both of these are smug assholes. That's why they're very well liked. This one's more dramatic. You never know what they're going to do, but still kind of kind-hearted. This one is smug, sadistic bitch that is all about self-indulgence. So they do have a split in their personality, but they do have very, very similar personalities. These are essentially the fan favorites. And then another example of designs that haven't been showcased too much would be this. This is the little brother to Unmei, and Unmei is one of the people that was a short story was written about. It's probably my longest short story. I wrote it in the form of diary entries because Unmei, this is Unmei's little brother, but Unmei essentially has a diary, and you basically get to watch Unmei age over time. You start off with Unmei when she was 8 years old, and eventually by the time the story or the short story ends, she's around the age 24. So I mean, you get to see these characters, or at least with this story, you get to see this character grow up. You get to see, this is the little brother, Destiny. You get to see Destiny be born. You get to see how she fawns over him, and just, it's very cool. Let me see if I can bring up Unmei. I do not have it on this computer. You'll just have to go and find Unmei yourself. You can find these things over on my Twitter. There's highlights over on the Twitter. And if you, let me actually go to it really quickly. You can go to Twitter. If you go to my profile, then you'll be able to see that there is a highlights tab. And in the highlight tab, if we go over here, then one of the things that you can see, the first thing that you can see is my manga, the Shirybun manga. There is a Shirybun manga. It's only chapter 1 so far. There's 28 pages in chapter 1. And there will be a chapter 2 soon. It'll be kind of introducing the other members of the flower shop, because, we got our 4 main characters. So the bunny blossoms, this manga, the Shiri manga, would be focusing more on Shiri's story and the people surrounding Shiri, Whereas the other, it's the story isn't all about Shiri. Shiri isn't necessarily even like a major part of the world right now. Shiri's kind of unknown. Shiri's just one of the more notable or people that have a very interesting story to tell. There's a lot of people that just have interesting stories to tell. It is a living, breathing world. Shiri doesn't even necessarily have to be the main character of this world, you know? And this is just the story that revolves around Shiri. There's stories that revolve around other people. Unmei is a great example of that. Unmei is more of a side character. She's not super OP. She's not super known. She's essentially making a name for herself. And she's just, a character in this world. And any character in this world can have an awesome story. And that, they don't have to be super OP. They don't have to be a main character. They don't have to have time-stopping powers. Any person in this world, in this universe, even in the world that you live in right now, everyone can have their own story, and any story can be interesting, especially if it's told by the right person. And if you scroll down here, you'll be able to see that I actually do have a thread that contains all of the characters that have artwork for it. So if we scroll down, we can see we have Shiri here. I even give a little kind of summary for it, and I can actually go through all of them here. I'll read them all out for you. I might even give you a little bit of a rundown, just see if you can get interested in some of these characters. So we have Shiri, the innocent-looking but secretly scary bunny boy. Spends his free time caring for his flowers, making potions, and doing questionable moral experiments on people he has locked up in cells beneath his flower shop. So this is Shiri. This is me. This is who we follow a lot of the times. I have my own story. Shiri has his own story. Shiri has the own things revolving around him. But Shiri isn't necessarily the main character of the world that he resides in. He kind of does his own thing. He has his own alchemy lab. He has his fluffles. He has his flowers. I have immense amount of lore around everything around Shiri, but I also have immense amount of lore just around the world in general and the other characters that are in the world. There's a lot of lore about Shiri. Obviously, he's the one that's the most fleshed out and stuff like that. I mean, even the Fluffles, which is the mascot, this thing little here, that's you, by the way, you're the Fluffle. You have your own lore. The mascot of this channel has its own lore, and it's something that you can learn about, and you can even take personality tests to decide what type of faction you are. And there's an entire document that talks about the lore of the Fluffles and stuff like that. So not even like everything has an explanation, everything is in lore, and I pride myself to this day that I have not retconned anything about my lore. I have since day one kept everything the same. I've worked with it. My story is concise. I have not had to retcon a single thing. And, I take pride in my storytelling and the world that I have built. And we can go on to other characters as well. We have Chompers. Chompers is the scary looking but secretly innocent bunny boy. They're essentially supposed to be the inverse of Shiri, where Shiri looks innocent but is actually scary, and Chompers looks scary but is actually innocent. That's kind of supposed to be the inverse. They are twin brothers. Their stories are obviously intertwined. They've been intertwined since birth. And Chompers is a very cool character. They have their own lore, and if you want to read more about it, you'll be able to find them in the description because they have the 3 short stories. This is who the 3 short stories, you'll learn about their backstory in those 3 short stories. The 3 storytellers of that story, it's supposed to seem like it's written by 3 different people. They're all written by me. Chompers has a more dramatic telling of the story, probably because it was very, very dramatic for him. All of them are not necessarily reliable narrators because they're all telling it from their perspective, and not always, not everything from your perspective is going to be the objective truth, because you have your own opinions, you have your own thoughts, you may have experienced things differently than another person. Shiri also has his perspective of how basically their upbringing went and the events that led to what traumatized Chompers or Yairi. And then Yuki also has his own perspective on the events. There's, questions to be had that I'm leaving breadcrumbs for and stuff like that. Here's a question that I haven't had anyone ask me yet. Why does Yuki have a perspective on this story? Why does Yuki know about Shiri and Yairi? Why does Yuki seem to know about them, as if he has a perspective, as if he saw this? No one has asked that question yet. That's a breadcrumb that I left there on purpose. That's something that I would love you theorizers to figure out. I've left so many things for people to theorize for. This is one of those things. I've also left little clues in the stories and stuff like that, especially in Chomper's short story, to have little hints of like, why is this character doing this? And like, I leave little, I've left a lot of breadcrumbs for you guys, especially for people who like theorizing. I even have an entire, like, I'm not even kidding. There is an entire section in the Patreon Discord. This is the Patreon Discord. It is called the Lore Questions channel. You see that? There are so many questions that have been made. So many questions. I answer all of them. This is a question that has been, you know, these are just so many questions, and I try to answer every single one of them, even if some of them are just kind of quirky or some of them are kind of funny. I make sure to answer all of them, essentially. Some of them are a lot more serious than others, and you know, some of them are, you know, but it's something that I take my lore very, very seriously. No matter how silly a question is, I'm of course going to answer them. And that's something that I pride myself in, and I'm going to continue doing. So this is Yuki. This is the Hot Fox Man. Yuki, incredibly based Hot Fox Man that everyone loves, spends his time adventuring, getting lost, tinkering with unheard technology, playing with Rubik's Cubes, and having fun, annoying Shiry. And that's kind of Yuki's thing, and you get to see some artwork of them. This is Chu, if you remember, that's who was dancing with Yuki. Their personalities are very similar because they're both smug bitches. This is Chu, the hot twink that's almost never seen wearing the same outfit twice. Spends his time indulging himself with any want he has, entertaining himself, and lots of fucking. This character fucks a lot. They have sex. They like banging. Because they're self-indulgent, and that's something that you indulge yourself in sometimes. Here's Unmei, one of my most innocent and happy characters. Do you remember? Do you remember the little brother that I was trying to show you guys? Look at that. This is the little brother to her. She's the big sister. This is big sis Unmei. Unmei, the adorable, lovable girl that tries to put a smile on everyone's face. She is a wholesome character. She is one of my just straight out, flat, nice, happy, wholesome character. She's very sweet. Spends her time training, fawning over her friends and little brother, and trying to make a difference. She's probably the story that I'm most proud of. I really, really like the story that I made for her. She has a short story about her, and she's not even a main character. She is a side character. She is not a part of like the big high council. She's not a part of Shiri's little gang. She is just has her own story and has her own ambitions and has her own dreams. Here's Hope. He's going to be the secret main character. Well, one of the secret main characters. He's going to be working at the flower shop. That's what I mean by main character. People that work at the flower shop is going to be a part of, you know, a main part of Shirybun's story. So this is Hope, the mysterious, tired of everything blonde boy. Spends his time working. He's a workaholic. He has no time for himself, and he is basically dead inside. Now we have Ruler. They don't have a name. They are nameless. The nameless deadpan Blade Waltzer spends their time lazing about in my land, which is the place that they named, because they take everything literally. As said here, taking everything said to them literally. They have been, you know, they got their own, they're a quad wielder of, you know those two-handed swords, like those great swords. This guy quad wields great swords. He wields 4 big ass swords. He is such a cool character. He's very cool. He is one of the council members. And then here we have Ivy. Ivy, the poisonous, cold animal lover, spends their time constantly adventuring, looking for new animals to fawn over. They're very cold towards people, but they're very warm and loving towards animals. Then we got Jared, our beloved Jared, the compassionate, loving, caring priest. Cannot be seen without a smile on his face. Formed the biggest religion on his continent. And we got Destiny. You remember them. Look at them. That's the little brother. Destiny, Unmei's adorable, precious little brother. A beam of hope and a ray of sunshine born in one of the darkest places. When he's smiling, it's hard for you not to smile back. And then we have Alright. I like this design a lot. It's one of my favorite designs. Alright, the 500-plus-year-old, sick of being treated like a child, dwarf king. They are a girl, though. It's just dwarf king is like their title. She always has an aura of royalty about her, taking on as much responsibility as possible to prove herself. It's almost like she can see through anybody, so don't try to lie to her. And those are the characters. Those are the characters that have art. Obviously, there's a lot of other characters, some example being like Sky. Sky is a character that's in Unmei's story. There's a lot of, they got Unmei's parents as well. There's a lot of other characters that are in the story and in the world. And not all of them have artwork for them yet, but a good amount of them do. This is something I'm extremely passionate about. It's something that I hope I can get you sinking your teeth into and wanting more. This is something unique to me. I'm a writer. I'm a storyteller. I really, really care about my lore. And it's something that I hope that I can get you to enjoy as well. And, I feel like this video has probably gone on long enough. And thank you so much for your time. I'll make sure to link the stories in the description. You can have the lore Bible as well. I can't give you every single story because that is one of the Patreon perks, is getting a new short story. But if you are interested in those short stories, you can always get a free trial to the Patreon. Or if you really want to support me, the smallest and the shortest tier is the $5 tier. If you feel like supporting me, it's never a requirement. It's always completely up to you. You just watching this video and getting this far into the video and clicking on these videos is already helping me enough. So you do not have to feel the need to monetarily support me as well. I'm just happy that you listened to me ramble about my lore, the thing that I care so much about, for this long. So thank you. I hope you found something interesting. This video, I did it all in OBS. I didn't do any editing to it. So if any of it looks a little unnatural or a little off, or there were a little few moments like that, I apologize. And I would appreciate if you would comment your favorite part of the things that I've showed you. What do you like the most? What are you most excited for? What did you find the most interesting? Was it the Shiry anime? Was it just all the different characters? Do you like the artwork for the characters? Is it the songs? Do you think having songs for the regions, the places, the countries is really, really cool? Like, is it just the sheer amount of lore there is? What do you think is the coolest part of this all? If you even think anything's cool. And I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. But if you're this far into the video, there's no way you're not already just subscribed to me. I feel like no one would listen to a random VTuber that they don't know yap for about 30 minutes of their lore and not know them. I feel like the only people that are clicking on this video and got this far into it kind of know me and my lore. But if this is the first time you've ever met me, I hope you enjoy my lore. I hope, even though you don't know me as a creator yet, even if you don't know me as a person yet, you can still enjoy my storytelling. And possibly this could be, how you get yourself into some Shirybun content. There will be more content in the future, of course. We got our bunny babble that'll be coming up tomorrow. A few fun topics to talk about. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for just for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Bye bye.